Good evening, thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. Employer brutally beats employees over a 300 kwacha. Government urged to extend the debt swap to quasi-government institutions. A LUSAKA lawyer sues the state to clarify electoral commissions of Zambia powers. In international news, ZUMA GRAFT trial resumes online after deadly South Africa violence. And in sports, RODGER KOLA joins AZAM on a 2-year deal. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs, and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100, Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can email us at info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, no just another channel.
And now the main news in detail. Mutendere residents have called on the Lusaka City Council to address the growing indiscriminate waste disposal in the area. Lusaka generates about 1 million tons of waste annually, 2,700 tons per day, but only half of this is taken to the designated dump site. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview, several residents have called on the locals to be dumping the waste at the designated dump sites.
With one of Lusaka City Council's objectives of encouraging people to take keen interest in the implementation of the Keep Zambia Clean campaign since 2007, most people tend not to adhere to the aim but rather choose to ignore and do quite the opposite despite the campaign. In Mutendere constituency of Lusaka, several residents have called on Lusaka City Council and other local residents to control the constant littering of garbage.
But want to muntu ata anyhow kurina chimoto gachina ngucha orange na cheve chimabwela mwiki uzapeze gati muntu ata mabini pari ponse andi wamewa ata si wamewa bari pafuki na manyumba bachoka samwe because wameana botaja 04 nakutabira samwe yo kunikutaka nayo pa kumupisha sinizio sembe kwenze kuruma moto ya kanso ya leta chema moto yake ibo vitenga because muntu ni muntu moto wangati yafa ero mwaripira pe bamubotenga mu weekend bamubira every Friday.
The residents say it is depressing at the level at which members of the public throw litter just besides Mutendere New Secondary School wall fence.
Atiayamba mvula tima stove kima bwera kwa save na mazi tima kina na mnyamata uje wa muja tekambo fikiri na vite tikutura mabini viende babo batera hapo usiku hapo watu mabantu tukasitera na mabini pamena hapa osa ya manyumba ndipo mkapita hapa mzapeza tukaika mtu ma plastic batera pamena hapa tuna mabini bademu ona hivi.
They have disclosed that this has made the area unstable.
This thing you see here, this is the actual site where people are supposed to be dumping their garbages. Now we find that those people who don't want to be paying a certain amount which they are charging, those are the ones who are dumping cabbages anywhere, everywhere around this school. So we don't know the council how they can help us.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A charcoal seller of Mutendere compound has allegedly brutally beaten 3 of his workers to death for losing a 300 kwacha. The suspect, Malika Kanjigwe, 70, is said to have picked the 3 workers in the early hours of today and locked them in her room for beating upon the discovery of a 300 kwacha shortfall from charcoal sales. Victims have been identified as Edward Zimba, 18, Moses Mumba and Christopher Katongo, who were later taken to Mutendere Clinic by sympathizers for further checkups because of several internal injuries. A complaint was later submitted at Mutendere Police Post.
He has been lying on this wheelbarrow since morning. He can hardly walk or talk. Moses Mumba of Mutendere compound is one of the 3 victims who were allegedly beaten in the early hours of Monday, July 19, 2021. It is said the 3 victims are charcoal sellers who were locked by their employer for a brutal beating over a 300 kwacha loss. The suspect, Milika Kachingwe, 70 of age, allegedly picked the victims to her house at around 04 a.m. Among the victims, Edward Zimba, 18, recounts of what transpired.
ise ndirama inasoba ise so na so bamaye ndiye pamesezi wacha understand bakwa batitenga batipeleka kunyumba kwao bezi batipeleka kunyumba kwao kuja ise petafika che bakwa bambochosa mansimbi machani batumira foni bana bao benango already nishiwenango bali kudala munyu ise kufika pa nyumba bamene paja ndiye mwete tambili kumenyewa manje kumenyewa na mansimbi zibambilira uyu mufana bamumenya naye ne manje nambukoka ko bandomenya na winango walitana kumungamba nawo manje yasoye tizambo ngala bwanje so dandaula kuli tezomenyewa na mansimbi chija chipipe chija chonse na mapemba yonse wezibayachosa kutuweza kufunana kutipaya.
One of the sympathizers, whose identity is off record, condemns the act. The suspect is currently in custody at Mutendere Police Post. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, Matero residents have been assured of equitable water supply following an appeal made by the residents on the 7th of July 2021. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview in Lusaka, Water and Supply Sanitation Company Public Relations Officer Nshamba Mzungu says it is the responsibility of the institution to be rational in the supply of water. He further says the institution is forced to stop the flow of water in places with high pressure to accommodate the ones with low pressure.
So the question of water supply in Matero compound, I think over the last few months we've recorded remarkable improvement in terms of water supply. This is because of the stability that we have attained, with the improvement in water from the sources, and so that trickle-down effect has been felt also in areas such as Matero, which a few months ago were having challenges. Usually in the hot season, these areas have challenges of adequate water supply, but now there's been some remarkable improvement. But there are still some areas where we do not have many hours of supply, and that's for a good reason that we have to continue to ration water supply in order to ensure that there's equitable distribution.
The National Union of Technical Education Lecturers and Allied Workers, NUTILAO, has called on government through the Ministry of Higher Education to consider extending the debt swap which is given to civil servants to parastatal companies and quasi-government institutions. NUTILAO President Mr. Emmanuel Mwila explains that bodies such as those that will fall under the Technical Education and Entrepreneurship Training sector TVETA are today struggling to pay their workers and conduct operations, as they are 95% of self-sustaining and only get 5% government grants. Speaking during a media address Monday, Mr. Mwila further states that the institutions depend on tuition fees for operations, which is also supposed to pay workers' salaries and personal emoluments.
Government, through the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Services, on 16th July 2021, announced a debt swap between government and civil servants as a way to ease the burden in loan repayments to financial lending institutions. The National Union of Technical Education Lecturers and Allied Workers, NUTELAO, has made an outcry to government that parastatal companies and quasi-government institutions should not be left out on this initiative, as they too are heavily indebted. Union President Mr. Emmanuel Mwila, speaking to the media, states that bodies such as the Technical Education and Entrepreneurship Training TEVET owe workers up to 100 million kwacha in debt payment for salaries and personal emoluments.
So we solely depend on students' tuition fees for our survival. The challenge comes, as it happens mostly, government has delayed in remitting these bursary funds to institutions. Institutions in turn has failed to pay statutory obligations to meet daily operations and accrued dues to the employees. Most institutions in turn end up incurring huge penalty costs to statutory bodies as well, such as NAPSA, Compensation Fund, as well as ZRA.
Mr. Mwila explains that the institutions are meant to be self-sustaining as they only get a 5% grant from government.
Riding on this government's gesture and goodwill, debt swap, in this case, we want to appeal to government to consider writing off or swapping the debts that our institutions on NAPSA, Workers' Compensation and ZRA to give them some breathing space. This, to us, will go a long way in addressing the indebtedness of our sector.
He has further called on government to expedite the payment of tuition fees for those on government loans to ease operations at the institutions. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The latest 2020 Financial Intelligence Center FIC report has shown a spike in suspicious transaction reports, with the center having received a total of 2,266 in comparison to 748 in 2019, indicating a rise over 200%. The report further shows an increase in cyber crimes attributed to the coronavirus, as most transactions which would have been carried out in person were done through digital platforms to avoid the use of cash, thus prompting the bank to increase their surveillance. Meanwhile, President of the Third Liberation Movement Party, Enoch Tonga, tells Camnet TV News that the processing of a bill to stiffen the laws against corruption in the country should be expedited as soon as sessions of Parliament start sitting post 12th August pause.
The Financial Intelligence Center FIC has noted that Zambia has continued recording financial crimes, money laundering activities and tax evasion. In its latest report that ended on December 31st, 2020, the report shows that there has been an increase in cyber crimes and the abuse of virtual currencies, mainly due to the coronavirus, as most transactions were done through digital platforms to avoid the use of cash transactions, thus prompting the bank to increase surveillance. The coronavirus brought about increased levels of cybercrime and COVID-19 related fraud. In this regard, the FIC has noted an increase in reports of suspected financial crimes from 748 in 2019 to 2,266, representing an increase of 203%. The FIC has expressed concern over these crimes, saying financial crimes are a national challenge which impact on the stability of the economy and the integrity of financial systems. President of the Third Liberation Movement Party, Mr. Enoch Tonga, says the bill to stiffen laws on corruption should be quickly worked upon once Parliament resumes, as the report further indicates that the country has lost over 2 billion kwacha to corruption activities.
Nobody has come to our aid. Nobody has stood with us in supporting the non-bearable law on corruption. And now we are hearing these academic exercises, academic reports on FIC that Zambia has lost to a tune of 2.2 billion. Seriously?
Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Bank of Zambia BLZ has revealed that it has purchased 478.76 kgs of gold at a cost of 604.3 million kwacha since December 2020. This is broken down in 391.92 kgs purchased from Kansashi Copper Mining PLC at a cost of 500.5 million kwacha and 86.84 kgs purchased from Zambia Gold Company, a subsidiary of ZCCM-IH at a cost of 103.8 million kwacha. This is contained in a statement made available to Camnet TV by Bank of Zambia Communications Division, LUSAKA, today, July 19th, 2021. Meanwhile, the Bank of Zambia plans to purchase 746.5 kgs of London Good Delivery Gold from Kansashi Copper Mining PLC and about 120 kg of dough gold with a minimum of 88% purity from Zambia Gold Company per year. The objective of this initiative is to shore up and diversify the international reserves. 3 businessmen and a 23-year-old female student who allegedly murdered a 50-year-old veterinary doctor, Evans Mwengwe, last month and ran away with his Mercedes-Benz valued at $14,400 US, among other items they stole, have appeared before the Lusaka Magistrate Court. This is in a matter in which 42-year-old Josat Tembo, a mechanic of New Chilenje, has been jointly charged with Kenani Jereth, 23, businessman of Lusaka's Katondo area, Doris Ndumba, 23, student of Luangwa, and Keegan Zulu, 38, businessman of Chalala area. The quartet are facing 1 count of murder contrary to Section 200 and 1 count of aggravated robbery contrary to Section 2941. The alleged murder is said to have occurred between the 10th and 12th of June 2021 after Mr. Mwengwe offered the quartet transport from Bima in Kawe. Some of the things they are alleged to have stolen, among others, is his Mercedes-Benz, an Infinix phone valued at 5,000 kwacha, a MacBook laptop valued at 23,800 kwacha, 2 bags of maize valued at 300 kwacha. And when the matter came up Monday morning, the accused were not before court. However, they are expected to appear before Magistrate Felix Kauma on the 20th of July 2021 for mention and possible committal to the Lusaka High Court. A Lusaka lawyer, Michael Mtwena, has sued the state seeking a declaration that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has no powers to cancel or postpone a presidential or parliamentary election under a general election. In this matter, Mr. Mtwena has cited the Attorney General as the respondent and wants the court's interpretation on the constitutional provisions under the circumstance an election may be cancelled. The Electoral Commission of Zambia recently called for fresh nominations of 3 constituencies, namely Mandevu, Lusaka Central and Chawama, following the death, resignation and withdrawal of candidates in their respective areas.
Recently, debates had emerged following the decision by the Electoral Commission of Zambia to cancel 3 parliamentary nominations in Mandevu, Lusaka Central and Chawama. This decision by the Commission to call for fresh nominations for eligible candidates was done following the death of Zambian United for Sustainable Development Party candidate in Mandevu, the resignation of an independent candidate in Lusaka Central, and withdrawal from Leadership Movement Party candidate in Chawama. Now, a Lusaka lawyer, Michael Mtwani, has petitioned the Constitutional Court seeking an interpretation from the court if the Commission has the powers to cancel or postpone a presidential or parliamentary election under a general election. Mr. Mtwena, in his petition, has cited the Attorney General as the respondent. According to the originating summons filed in the Constitutional Court, the petitioner seeks a declaration that pursuant to Article 52(6) of the Constitution, ECZ only has powers to cancel or postpone a standalone presidential election has provided for in Article 1065 and 1058, or parliamentary by-election and local government by-election has provided for in Article 57, and that all elections held under a general elections are not amenable to cancellation or postponement by the Commission. Mr. Mutwena also seeks a declaration that ECZ with respect to general elections only has the obligation and power to cancel nominations where there is death, resignation or disqualification of a candidate after close of nomination, and that they are further constitutionally obligated to hold fresh nominations and maintain the date of such general elections as set out in the Constitution for all elections that are supposed to be held under general elections. He is further seeking a declaration that a vacant seat or office of MP, mayor, council, chairperson or councillor occasioned by the expiration of the term of office and dissolution of parliament or council pursuant to Article 72(1), 83(1) and 3 and 157(1) is fundamentally different from a vacant seat as defined in Article 72(2) and Article 157(2). Mr. Mutwena wants the Constitutional Court to interpret constitutional provision that relate to the matter and the circumstance under which an election may be cancelled. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV's main news. For now, we take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
For too long, Zambian people have endured tough times. High levels of unemployment, lack of freedom, ever-increasing cost of living, poor health facilities, corruption, and injustice. Time and time again, we have been promised a better tomorrow, but things are only getting tougher. My fellow Zambians, someone is listening. Every outcry, every obstacle and pain brought by the trials and tribulations you're facing, he is listening. A leader with a heart for the people of Zambia. Only he can fix what is broken. A leader who stands for unity and prosperity across all ethnic, religious and gender considerations, to live in harmony in a free and democratic society. Change is coming. Change that will restore the country and build it from the ground up. Let's make impactful change by voting Hakainde Hichilema.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market. Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs, and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100, Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. Printing of the Presidential, Mayoral Council, Chairperson and Parliamentary candidates in the forthcoming Zambian general elections in Dubai has reached 100%, while the remaining councillor ballots are at 79% according to the Non-Governmental Gender Organization Coordinating Council, NGOCC. In a statement, Organization Executive Director and Civil Society Representative Ms. Ingwase Mwale says this is according to a briefing by the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ to the monitoring team. She adds that the importance of a free and fair election cannot be overemphasized in a democratic country like Zambia, and the organization therefore takes observing of the ballot paper printing with the seriousness it deserves. Zambia will, on the 12th of August 2021, conduct general elections.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia has today, 19th July 2021, updated the monitoring team here in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, that the printing of the forthcoming elections ballot papers is progressing according to schedule. So far, the presidential, mayoral and council chairperson and also parliamentary printing is at 100% done, and the remaining local government councillor ballots stand at 79% complete. The process has yet brought to the fore the urgent need for constitutional reforms with regard to the electoral process, such as circumstances surrounding fresh nominations after the demise or indeed withdrawal of any of the validly nominated candidates. It is our expectation that the leadership that will be ushered into office after the 12th August 2021 polls will prioritize these reforms through a broad-based consultative process that will focus on enhancing Zambia's electoral laws, in addition to addressing other lacunas in the 2016 amended constitution.
Zambia Anti-Tribalism Youth Organization Deputy Chairperson Simata has urged those seeking to hold public offices to have the desire of serving the nation and not making themselves rich. Speaking with Camnet TV in an exclusive interview in Lusaka, Mr. Simata observes that most politicians are exhibiting love of money and not the desire to serve the nation with sincerity. He adds that many of those contesting on some of the seats are not qualified, but because of selfishness, they continue to masquerade as credible leaders.
We expect our economy to be in limbo. Can you expect many youths to remain unemployed? No. So my advice here, don't just blame. No. Look, compare his caliber to those politicians who are contesting here as members of parliament. You'll find that some other members of parliament or politicians cannot qualify to be councillors in China. But here they are contesting as members of parliament. If their parties win, and the same caliber is what they bring in a cabinet, and you expect the economy or level of unemployment to be reduced, it's a joke. So my advice is this: you need to love your country. Loving your country will, will enable you understand the situation you are in. Understanding the situation you are in, then that situation will teach you who to become your president.
Operation Young Vote OIV has challenged government to disassociate itself from those speaking ill against diplomats if it does not endorse their behavior. OIV Acting Executive Director Isaac Mwale says the stance of the diplomatic community on national matters has been fair. Mr. Mwale is disappointed that the consortium of civil society organizations calling itself the Motherland Defenders Coalition has made it a habit to discredit the British and American ambassadors accredited to Zambia. He says Zambia, being a democratic country affiliated international bodies, must not condone such behavior.
We all know and have seen this unevenness in the way the Public Order Act, COVID-19 protocols, public media space being allocated in relation to the ruling party, Patriotic Front, and the opposition. The situation is horrible and vexing to say the least. Why then should the diplomats be taken on in such manner by the government watchers? The question and belittling of Patricia Scotland of the Commonwealth on her role in the peace pledge by politicians in the country is not only cheap and myopic, but is also eroding confidence other countries have in Zambia and its systems. If the government of the Republic of Zambia thinks that this ranting by some individuals will do them good, and maybe it would earn them some sympathy from citizens and the world at large, then we are on a wrong trajectory. We must make mention that these diplomats did not find themselves in Zambia from nowhere. They are here through the under-diplomatic channels and missions the government is fully aware of. Our considered advice to the government, if really it is not part of this scheme, is as follows. The first one is that immediately they should disassociate themselves from such positions and tame all those that are indulging in a game they may have little or no understanding whatsoever.
Media Network on Child's Rights and Development has condemned publishing of video content involving children unless it is a positive story. Organization Executive Director Henry Kabwe says no justifications should be accepted in exploiting children in society, especially on social media. Mr. Kabwe notes that the habit by some individuals of capturing children dancing, singing or caught in an act should be highly condemned. He was responding to a recent video that went viral on social media recently where a child was allegedly caught stealing onions.
The video of a child who allegedly stole onions from school is making rounds on the internet, from social media memes to t-shirts and now in songs. Recently, the Zambia police spokesperson, Ms. Esther Katongo, issued a statement condemning the act, saying the woman who took the video was wrong. And child rights activist Mr. Henry Kabwe says no justification should be accepted in exploiting children in society, especially on social media.
Yes, the story about a child who was caught stealing onions by a teacher in Mungwe district has brought out a number of dimensions to the discourse of child rights in Zambia. We see that the right to privacy is not being respected, and people are actually making fun of that experience because of the child's ability to defend himself and negotiate. It must be known that the right to privacy is enshrined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. So that right must be respected. We have seen music videos mocking the child, depicting the child in the wrong way that are going around, being circulated. And more people are actually trying to help the child and further exposing that child. And we wonder how the livelihood of that child is going to be when they grow up, because it's very, very important, for that right to be respected.
Meanwhile, in a statement, Zambia police says the law requires that juvenile offenders in criminal matters are protected. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, ZUMA Science and Technology Trust, through the Linking Science Society to Better Lives project, has oriented 128 journalists countrywide to cover COVID-19. DSAT Executive Director Veronica Mwaba says specialist journalists in collaboration with scientists should be at the core to turn around situations for society to believe in the science. The project is being implemented in collaboration with Ministry of Health, Zambia National Public and Health Institute, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Media Institute of Southern Africa, and National Science and Technology Council. Mrs. Mwaba says fake news is retrogressive, hence therefore unverified information should not find space in the news media. She notes that Zambia has great opportunity for science and technological advancement, taking into account its young population of 70%. She underscored the need to improve access to resource allocation and information to reinforce the connection between research and policy goals.
We are confident that the 128 reporters trained countrywide are equipped with knowledge on the new coronavirus. We also believe that the networking events and workshops have built capacity in the journalists to counter fake news. The platform will make it easier for media to check up facts on COVID-19 with credible sources of information. As we embark on the COVID-19 vaccination campaigns, we are mindful that our communication outreach is informed by research. For example, according to the 2019-2020 Trust in the Media in the SADC region,
Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded a total number of 29 COVID-19 deaths and 630 new cases in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health has assured Zambians that government is working hard to acquire additional vaccine doses and to have them at the earliest possible time. Disclosing to the media in a press statement, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama says the country is expecting to receive an update from the COVAX facility as to when the next consignment of Johnson & Johnson will arrive in the nation. Dr. Malama has reiterated that the reduction in hospitalizations and deaths recorded by the ministry in the past few days should not make people anxious, but rather encourage them to do more in being compliant to the public health and social directives, adding that there is a serious need to move the fight against COVID-19 from hospital to the communities. The Permanent Secretary has stipulated that the COVID-19 positive rates, which are at 20%, indicates how the spread of the infection is in our country. We'll take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Good day to you, our dear esteemed customers. As AZAM, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed YATU, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 ngwe benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about YATU, stay on.
YATU is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a YATU offer. YATU benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing YATU offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. Zamtel customers will have the ability to actually purchase the YATU benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. YATU benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your YATU benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. Now getting into our international item. The GRAFT trial of South African ex-President Jacob Zuma resumes on Monday, held online in a bid to forestall another wave of the deadly unrest that swept the nation after he was jailed in an unrelated case. Although the proceedings were taking place virtually, security was tight around the High Court in the southern city of Pietermaritzburg, the capital of Zuma's home region of KwaZulu-Natal, where Zuma loyalists have previously gathered in rowdy shows of support. Armed police and soldiers deployed to quell recent riots secured the area around the court. A brown military vehicle towered over armored police vehicles as a helicopter flew above, according to a report at the scene. ZUMA faces 16 charges of fraud, graft and racketeering related to the 1999 purchase of fighter jets, petrol boats and military gear from 5 European arms firms when he was deputy president. The widow of Haiti's assassinated president has returned home after treatment in the United States for gunshot wounds. Martine Moïse was wearing body armor as she arrived in Port-au-Prince and was met by interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph. Here is a roundup.
The graft trial of South African ex-President Jacob Zuma resumes, held online in a bid to forestall another wave of deadly unrest that swept the nation after he was jailed in an unrelated case. Zuma faces 16 charges of fraud, graft, racketeering related to the 1999 purchase of fighter jets, patrol boats and military gear from 5 European armed firms when he was deputy president. The trial started in May after numerous postponements and delays as Zuma's legal team worked fervently to have the charges dropped. He claimed his innocence when he appeared in person for the opening in May. On July 29, Zuma was found guilty of contempt of South Africa's top court for snubbing graft investigators probing his time as president.
And phones belonging to hundreds of journalists, activists and politicians have been hacked by governments using spyware owned by Israeli surveillance company the NSO Group. The Israeli firm has called the investigation's findings exaggerated and baseless. Well, we can now speak to Sirath Verrajan. He is a founding editor of The Wire and a journalist whose phone was hacked. He joins us now from New Delhi. Sirath, let me start by asking you how you found out you were being monitored with this Pegasus software.
Well, we have been working with Forbidden Stories, which is a Paris-based media organization, a non-profit. And they accessed this database of numbers and decided to assemble a collaborative media project involving news organizations from around the world, and The Wire is one of them. And of course, as part of the research into what these numbers were, my number popped out, and that's in a way why they also reached out to me. And so I was informed about this by Forbidden Stories, and we had the phone forensically examined by Amnesty International, and the infection was detected.
Martine Moïse has returned to Haiti after receiving treatment in the United States for wounds sustained during the assassination of her husband, President Jovenel Moïse, earlier this month. The interim Prime Minister, Claude Joseph, met her at the airport. It's still not clear whether he'll continue to run the country or who ordered the killing.
They cannot destabilize me. The plot is very big. There are many people involved. Do not create confusion about the clues. If you want, let them assassinate me or continue the investigation until its conclusion.
More than 20 Colombian mercenaries allegedly carried out the killing, most of whom were captured. 3 were killed.
In this integrated work, there is very important data in terms of how the homicide was carried out, and confirms that the initial meetings were held in Miami between people who worked for the CTU security service.
Colombian investigators point the finger at former Haitian government official Félix Badiou, whose whereabouts are unknown. One of the few certainties in an otherwise confused picture is that the funeral for the former president will take place in the northern city of Cap-Haitien. The assassination came after weeks of rising gang violence, fed by poverty and political corruption, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The United Nations last week delivered the first 500,000 doses so Haiti can finally begin its vaccination program.
Yes, I see that we have started well. We have made awareness work with the staff and went to the clinics to explain what the disease is and how to protect patients against it.
Officials have warned that the figure of less than 500 dead and 19,000 infected is probably underreported, and inoculating Haiti's 11 million population will be an uphill struggle.
Of course. Do you see what's going on in the markets? If everyone goes to the public market, sitting next to each other, it will be the end of Haiti. I think that we should vaccinate everyone.
But until that can happen, others are taking alternative measures. like the 3-day annual pilgrimage to bathe in the sacred waters at the shrine of one of Haiti's most revered saints, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Daniel Schweimler, Al Jazeera.
Let's now get into our sports news. Former Cajun striker RODGER KOLA has become the latest Zambian player to join Tanzanian outfit AZAM Football Club. The Chipolopolo forward has penned a 2-year deal with the Wana Ramba Ramba. The club took to social media to confirm the development. The deal was signed today in Dar es Salaam. KOLA joined AZAM as a free agent after his contract with Zanaco came to an end on June 21st. KOLA will reunite with his former coach George Luandamina and link up with the fellow Zambians Obi Chirwa, Charles Zulu and Paul Katema. KOLA is represented by renowned agent Nia Karim, who also brokered the Charles Zulu deal to the same club. KOLA told the ZAM Foot crew that he is very happy to join a big club, AZAM Football Club, and that he is very happy to reunite with his coach Luandamina, who coached him at Under-20 World Cup in 2007. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Employer brutally beats employees at over a 300 kwacha. Government urged to extend the debt swap to QUASI government institutions. A LUSAKA lawyer sues the state to clarify Electoral Commission of Zambia powers. In international news, ZUMA GRAFT trial resumes online after deadly South Africa violence. And in sports, RODGER KOLA joins AZAM on a 2-year deal. Before we go, here's our Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Psalm 105 verse 1 to 2, and it reads, "Give thanks to Yahweh, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the people. Sing to him, sing praise to him, tell about all his wonderful works." Thank you for joining us. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Pleasant viewing.